In this video, I'm going to be making a chocolate peanut butter pizza, which sounds absolutely wonderful. This is from the August 2005 edition of Southern Living magazine. Now, I will tell you, you are supposed to buy refrigerated sugar cookie dough. Our Walmart was completely sold out of refrigerated sugar cookie dough. If you can get one of those tubes, you need an 18-ounce roll. Since I couldn't get the tube, Kevin suggested I buy the sugar cookie mix, and I thought that was a great idea. So for this sugar cookie mix, you need a stick of butter and you need 1 egg. So normally you would not need these things for this recipe. Normally you just get the roll. So we're gonna make that first, but then other ingredients you need a half cup of creamy peanut butter. You need 1 1/4 cups of milk chocolate and peanut butter morsels. So 1 1/4 cup total. You're going to combine these. You need a 1/4 of a cup of M&Ms, the mini M&Ms. You need a 1/4 cup of chopped salted peanuts, and I just have some peanuts here. I'm gonna measure these and I'm gonna chop them, and they're already salted, but we had these, so that's something I didn't have to buy. And then you need some hot fudge sauce, and it doesn't give you an amount because you're just gonna drizzle this over the top of your pizza. So the first thing I'm gonna do, I'm gonna move some of this stuff out of the way, and we're gonna make our sugar cookie. I'm gonna go ahead and do it on camera just because if you have to buy it this way, I'll show you how to make this real quick before we move on to the rest. So we're gonna make our cookie dough. This is a just slightly melted, not completely melted, it's slightly softened butter. And then you wanna add your sugar cookie mix in here. And your egg. Now for this recipe, it calls for a pizza pan. But if you're like us and you don't have a pizza pan and you have no need for a pizza pan, we've never had any need for a pizza pan.
Because you cook it on the rack itself.
Well, we buy frozen pizzas, or you know, so we just don't. We do not make homemade pizzas. And honestly, when I would make like a homemade pizza when the kids were little, do you remember what we used? We would use hoagie buns.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, so we wouldn't make
hot dog buns. We really wanted to be cheap.
Yeah, but hoagie buns are perfect to make like a pizza bread. That's what we always made because they were just easy. So since we don't have a pizza pan, this is for other people who don't have one. You can use a 9 by 13 inch pan, and if you don't have parchment paper, you can lightly grease it, but you want to go up on the sides a little bit with your spray. But I'm using parchment paper so that I can pull the whole thing out once it's baked. And because Kevin did a Google search, and what did it say about the size?
It said a 12-inch pizza pan, which is what you're supposed to use for this. A 12-inch one. It's like 114 square inches, and then the 9 by 13 pan is 117 square inches, so they're almost exactly the same as far as the area on the bottom. So you know we'll probably end up having to weigh this because they said a specific size, or you just want to use the whole thing.
They said an 18-ounce. This is actually 17.5. So we'll use the whole thing. So it'll end up being that once you add the butter and stuff. Yeah, so we'll end up, you'll end up using the whole thing.
I would think it would have been the same anyway. But
yeah, I think it'll be the whole thing. So I'm going to continue to get this stirred in, and then we'll be back. Okay, here's our dough. So you're going to pour this in your pan. And I'm going to go ahead and take my clips off. I just like the clips to hold the paper down. But I'm gonna have to use my fingers because it's gonna stick.
You need some spray?
I need some spray. I'm gonna spray my fingers really quick. So Kevin sprayed my fingers. So
just cooking spray.
Yeah, it's just cooking spray, and see how it's not sticking so much. So you're gonna spread this out on the bottom, and we're gonna go up the side just a little bit, just enough to give it a lip like the crust of your pizza would have. And your oven needs to be preheated to 350 degrees. So if you're using the roll of dough, you're gonna do the same thing with your roll of dough. This is gonna go in the oven for 20 to 25 minutes. And while this is in the oven, I'm gonna get my milk chocolate and my peanut butter and all that stuff, and I'm gonna measure it out, and then we'll be back. So this is our pizza crust. These are gonna, honestly, it's gonna be more like bars, I'm just telling you. But now I've had it out of the oven for 15 minutes. You leave it for 15 minutes, and then I'm gonna pull this whole thing out, and I'm gonna work with it on a flat surface. So, of course, if you use a pizza pan, yours is gonna be round. So the first thing you wanna do is take your ½ cup peanut butter, and this is still warm, but you want it to be warm so that you can spread your peanut butter. So this is gonna be like your red sauce on your pizza. Okay, so as you're spreading this, it doesn't seem like, oh, like ½ a cup, that's not gonna go the whole thing. But it is, since it's warm, it starts to melt, and it's actually the perfect amount. And my recommendation would be to leave the edges just like your regular pizza crust so that you can take your hand and pick it up. And then next you want to get your morsels. And we did, I like peanut butter more than chocolate. So I did 3/4 cup of peanut butter, and I did ½ a cup of milk chocolate. Now, I also had, up in my cabinet, I also had some white chocolate. And if I had remembered, I would have added some white chocolate. Just know you can add any chips you want. If you want to do cinnamon or butterscotch, or, you know, that's totally up to you to use whatever flavor you want. But I'm just using what they tell me to use. But normally I would choose to use white chocolate. And I can tell you right now, this would be fun for kids. Kids would enjoy making their own pizza. Kevin pointing out where I'm missing stuff, which I appreciate. Okay, now next we're gonna put on the M&Ms, and they're gonna add our color. And you don't have a ton. I probably put more over here than I should have. And then the peanuts. And I'm gonna have to take, I can tell right now, I'm gonna take my hand and,
smush it a little bit.
And yeah, just, I have some, this is a little bit more than what you're supposed to have, but I'm gonna go ahead and use it. Because I used those 2 full packages that I showed you at the beginning. I used both of those, and so it's a little bit more than what you need. But frankly, I like peanuts. So that is so pretty. So now, in order to make this look like a pizza, because I want my thumbnail to look like a pizza, I would ordinarily, if I weren't worried about a thumbnail for this video, I would cut this into bars probably, but I'm actually going to give it a pizza shape. So I'm gonna cut it just like this. Just like that. And I'm gonna take my little scoop here and put it on my plate, and that looks like my piece of pizza. Now, for your hot fudge, you can choose to use it or not. You need to drizzle it over the top, and so you're gonna take it just like this. And the good thing about this recipe is you can use, you could use hot fudge sauce, you could use caramel sauce, whatever sauces you choose. Kevin, what sauces have we seen?
Butterscotch, I think that's
Butterscotch. Yeah, and you can use as little or as much as you want. I don't want to use too much, honestly, because I want to be able to see those colors in my slice. So I think that looks delicious. So as I said, this is from the August 2005 edition of Southern Living Magazine. That's the cover, and I'll show you what theirs looks like. Of course, they made theirs in a round pizza pan, but I think mine is pretty good for...
Yeah, it worked fine.
Yeah. I put the hot sauce over Kevin's. I didn't put hot sauce on mine just because I would much rather taste the flavor of the peanut butter than than cover it up with chocolate. And that's why I said I would probably prefer to use white chocolate and peanut butter. Oh, it's soft.
There's still tons of peanut butter there, even with the chocolate. Even with the chocolate, there's tons of peanut butter still there. That's very good. That's sugar overload.
Is phenomenal.
Yeah.
That is, I mean, that is so good.
I love the, you get the peanut butter flavor.
Because you're putting a whole layer down below.
You're getting that, but I also like the saltiness of the peanuts.
Yes.
The crushed peanuts. Those are excellent.
Oh, that's delicious.
If you were to have this for a party or something, for a kid, I think I'd make smaller pieces for them because it's going to be so much sugar that you don't want them running around like crazy people. Now, I do think it's excellent, but it's very, 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 very sweet. So
Perfect for me.
So if you don't like a lot of sweetness, you probably don't want to make this. But if you like sweet, then this is over the top sweet.
I love it. You're like, I would give that a 5 out of 5.
Yeah,
right?
it's very, very good. And the square pan worked fine.
The square pan worked perfectly fine.
And we tried to get wedges out of the square pan. You could have very easily, like you said, just cut it in squares.
I would cut it into squares.
Yeah.
So if you don't have a pizza pan, like I said, we've never needed a pizza pan. There's no point in me going out at my age and buying a pizza pan when I don't need one.
No, never gonna
We've gone this long without having one, and you can always work around it. So, you know, just make it in the pan like we did, and it works out fine. And then just cut it into squares. And you might have a, depending on the size you make them, you might have a row in the middle that doesn't have the edge.
Yeah, you'll have a row in the middle that's just going to be your middle bar.
Yeah, it doesn't matter.
That might be a little harder to pick up and eat, but you might have to use a fork.
But the texture is terrific because not only do you get the cookie itself is soft on the bottom, and then the peanut butter is that creamy peanut butter. You could also use, it said creamy, you could also use extra crunchy. I know a lot of you like extra crunchy.
I love crunchy peanut butter.
You'll probably just need more because I think it won't spread as far with the peanuts in it. Yeah. But if you wanted to add, if you wanted even more peanuts, you could do extra crunch. You know, there's just so many things you could do with it.
So many different things you could try with it.
But the M&Ms add a crispy texture, and it's just absolutely delicious.
You could put Heath bar piece chunks on there.
Yes.
You could put candy bar pieces on this for that matter. The chopped up pieces.
Yes.
Yeah, you could
do
put
so much with this. And you could put little coconut.
Yeah, whatever you want.
Make it any way you want. Make it your own pizza. But that's why I'm saying this would be so much fun for kids, because you could take whatever you have in the cabinet that you haven't used in your other recipes and get them to sprinkle it on top, and anything's going to stick in that peanut butter, and it's going to be delicious. And you can see, it's not messy. I didn't think it was messy.
I got some chocolate on my plate.
Yeah, if you use hot fudge, you're going to get some chocolate. But
that's what you take your crust and scoop it up.
Exactly. So it still doesn't get wasted.
Right.
So I hope you enjoyed the video, and thanks for watching.